tune, and we're out here in the hill country coming to check out the place we're gonna get married. So what better, chance to review this tune. I don't have my mic with me today, but we made a nice little drive out to the hill country. Come look at the place we're gonna get married at. It's such a nice view. I'm so glad I'm able to put some of this stuff in my content, kind of share in my life as well. We're gonna be getting married on May 4th, so super exciting to be out here. Such a wonderful view. So as you guys can see here, it's 92 degrees outside, and we're still sitting at 4 bars, which means that before the Squadra tune, which this ups the auxiliary cooling pump, I would be at 5 bars right now. So it's doing its job at keeping the car cool, and it's been doing it for over 10,000 miles, and I think that's amazing. So thought I'd just get a... So Gabby, what do you think about the Squadra tune? Do you like it so far?
Yeah, I really like it. I think it's really good. Like when you hit the throttle, it really responds super fast.
With all that extra torque, does it annoy you a little bit?
No.
Yeah, and I think one of the coolest things is not having the start-stop. What do you think about that?
Yeah, with the start-stop, I was always kind of like, I was afraid that it would just not, start at a light or something.
And that's actually happened to quite a few people. So
because you were telling me that
not having the start-stop is a blessing in this car. On top of the fact that it, as far as like wear and tear, it not having the start-stop, that's such a wonderful feature of this tune. Anyways, gotta drop the family off before I give you guys a more immersive experience. Okay, everybody, so let's dive into this. What are you really getting with the Squadra tune? I guess you're gonna get power, and yes, that's the thing that everybody's chasing with these fun 2-liters. But the most important thing that I want to, get out there with this video is you're paying for reliability. You're talking about a tune that I uploaded one time, a little bit over 10,000 miles, maybe 12-ish thousand miles ago. And I have thrown no check engine lights. I have had no problems whatsoever with anything in this car. I mean, things that I would have expected that I probably would be dealing with on a tuned car, I have not. It feels better than factory. It feels really smooth when you're driving, and it feels powerful. Squadra tuning definitely has their stuff together. So you're not just going to be paying for something like a JB4 you can attach to the car. It uses some of the parameters in the vehicle to trick the ECU into adding a little bit more boost so that therefore you make a little bit more power. With Squadra, however, they do things like advance the timing and change some of the fueling tables. They stay within the safety parameters that the vehicle sets. They may up it a little bit so that the timing doesn't get reduced as quickly, but they make sure that you're in a safe, reliable tune. I mean, I've beat on this car in the last 12,000 miles quite a bit, and I've had no problems whatsoever. And I think that's amazing and a testament to truly how good Squadra is. I think that a lot of the times there's little features and things that are missed. And so after all this time driving around with the vehicle, I've gotten to where I've noticed these things, and one of them being the bars that I mentioned earlier. The Squadra allows the auxiliary water pump to run at a higher rate, therefore it keeps it cooler. And this is important because if you're driving around in super hot weather or even cooler weather, it keeps the ambient temperature down for your post-intercooler sensor. So it feels like you're going to be in cooler weather even when you're in hot weather, and I think that's amazing, even if we weren't talking about power gains. But in all reality, it lets you, drive around and feel like you're in better weather than you probably are, especially in the South where I'm from. One of the other things that I noticed is that when you're in park or whatever, you can kind of just you can rev above the factory limiter. The factory limiter is set at, I believe, 3,000 or 4,000. But anyways, you can rev away. As long as your car is warmed up, you know, you're not going to do any damage. Just don't do it too often, I guess. And I think that's pretty interesting. And something that I noticed, like literally 10K plus miles into this adventure with Squadra, is I was driving down the back road and I decided to give it the beans in first gear. And lo and behold, we're well above the factory limiter. So they raised the rev limiter to around 6,500 RPMs. And I think that's pretty awesome because sometimes some people want to feel, you know, that or hear that rev range and kind of get into it while they're driving. And I talked to Squadra because it kind of freaked me out at first, and they let me know, no, it's totally fine. You know, you're good at 6,500 RPMs. Nothing's going to happen to the valve train. You're going to be in good shape. So just having that is really nice. I know that Eurocompulsion also does something similar to that, where they raise the RPMs. But again, Squadra, I trust them a lot. They haven't given me any problems. Other YouTubers that I've seen have had some problems with Eurocompulsion. And I just think overall Squadra has a better and more composed tune. There's just lots of little things that they do to make the car feel better, feel smoother, drive like factory, while retaining this kind of OEM plus feel to every little mode. So let's get into what they do to the DNA modes as well as the start-stop system. So Squadra, what they do is normally, okay, if I didn't want to have my start-stop, I would have to go to press the button every single time. And trust me, start-stop is not something you want to be running on this car. I know that they put it in from the factory, but it's just one of those things for longevity. It really helps to not have it. So having it disabled with Squadra, and that comes standard with their tuning, is a godsend. I love that. It makes my experience of owning this car so much better. Anyways, beyond that, let's get into the different driving modes. So when you're in A mode, they basically keep the factory, roughly the factory setting of it being kind of like eco, and you're trying to save a little bit of gas, but they add a little bit of horsepower, so you're not down, I believe it's 200 from the factory, and then Squadra ups it to around 220. So you get about 20 more horsepower in A mode than compared to the factory A mode, which is really cool because it gives it a little bit more pep, and you're still saving fuel by being in that mode if you want to. I don't really use it very often, especially with the Squadra tune. I kind of just like let it rip. So you're gonna find me in D, or N or D, and pretty much my everyday driving. I like to do N if I'm in a hill country area, D so that we stay a little bit higher in the RPMs, and I don't have to worry about constantly keeping the RPMs up because I don't like putting high load whenever I'm going up a hill or things like that. I rather the RPMs ring out. That's just my preference. But anyways, in N mode, you're getting a perfectly stock tuned car. So it's like not even having a tune on whatsoever at all. It feels good. It feels normal. It's basically where you're at. You know, if you have your girl driving your car, or if you have, you know, a friend driving the car or something like that, and you don't want them to, or maybe they're not used to that kind of power level, so you want to put it in N and just give them a factory experience. You can do that. Now D is where they put in all their power. So this is where you're going to be getting your extra boost. You're going to be getting extra timing, and this is where you're going to feel a bulk of what's going on. So it's going to be in your mid-range, right around 2,000, 3,000 RPMs, kind of going up. The power feels a lot more linear, and it's super punchy around town if you have it in N. So that in conjunction with, say, the Madness Go pedal, and you've got yourself a really nice combo. So to reiterate, I mean, I have the Squadra tune, I have the Go pedal, I have the AFE cold air intake, and I have the centerline 3-inch exhaust all the way back. So I've got quite a few mods, as well as the Go Fast Bits Go Fast Bits installed, but without the mainspring. So that way it acts like factory. It's not doing a progressive thing. But anyways, to get back to it, I'm close to full bolt-ons, and I can tell you this car rips. So we're gonna do a little bit of driving down the back roads, and I'll do a 0 to 60. So that way you guys can, kind of see how everything works, and I'll show you how it looks whenever we're accelerating. And this tune is worth it. If you're on the fence about it, I would say go for it. I would say get the power gate, get the one where you can get the tune emailed to you, and you can upload it yourself, and you'll be good. The other one's nice, but at the same time, if I ever take it to the dealership, I don't want them to like update my ECU and then the tune gets wiped. So I liked having the ability of the power gate because I can upload it myself. And I think that's pretty intuitive. Okay, so now that we found a nice little back road, I'm not going to get on it too much, but I'm still going to drive around so that, you guys get a little bit of a feel. The Squadra tune is really, really excellent for roads like this. God, that torque. It just, man. Those downshifts. So, it goes without saying that one of the things that this tune does, and it does so well, is add such nice power to the lower RPMs. So it just almost feels like I can get into, for example, right now I'm in 7th gear, now in 6th. I don't really need to go any lower to start building up massive speed. It just allows you to just propel forward. And I mean this in like the best way possible. Like Squadra has a tamed power. I mean, I don't know. It's very linear. It's not like super abrupt or anything like that. It's very, very tame and very, very quick. Do another wide open. So it's just so fun to get on this car once you have the Squadra tune. I mean, it just goes and goes, and the torque just continues. I think that that's my favorite thing about this tune, is the way that it can put a smile on your face whenever you're out there enjoying some back roads. I mean, it's truly what makes this car fun. And I think everybody should have a chance to, enjoy this experience. And I highly recommend that if you're looking to get some performance out of your vehicle, go ahead and skip the intake, go ahead and skip the, exhaust unless you want some sound. But if you're looking for just straight power, get the Squadra tune. I mean, nothing beats it. I had the Max Power Pro from Madness before, and that was nice and all, but it doesn't have the same feel as Squadra. I mean, this is like they took the OEM settings that, the car has, that nice power delivery, the smoothness, and they just cranked it up to 10. You get some great power, and you get nothing but smiles whenever you're driving around because it's reliable. I mean, I've been driving for over 10,000 miles with this tune, and, quite often I'm in dynamic, and I'm pushing on it. And yeah, so after all the time that I've beat on this car and that I've had this tune, reliability is just so big on this vehicle. Let's see if I can do a boosted launch. Man, that was just something else. But I just love what Squadra does and the ability to, I have it in dynamic mode, and that's their maximum horsepower, but when I don't want it in dynamic, I can put it in natural or N, and then it's back to like stock power levels. And even better, you can put it in A, and then you're at an even lower power level, just 20 horsepower above stock A. So what's really cool about this tune is that unlike the JB4 or the Max Power Pro, what those do, they give you power in every single mode. This allows you to differentiate what power you want in what mode. And I think that's a huge advantage. I love how this car handles, how it feels, and the Squadra tune just really, really adds to the feel. I definitely would recommend it to anybody, and I think that it's the best thing that I've bought for this car. I would definitely skip over, again, air intake and exhaust. If you're looking for pure power, this has it. This is going to give you that itch if you're looking for something more than the typical 2.0 has to offer. And it's definitely something that I would look into first. Not to say that, putting in an intake or the exhaust is not a fun thing to do, but if you're looking for actual serious power gains, this is where it's at. Along with the fact that Squadra also offers a tune for their hybrid turbo, I think that that's where you need to be looking if you're trying to actually gain power out of the Giulia. Oh man, this is so nice. The tune is definitely where it's at. So anyways, thanks for joining me on this little hill country excursion, and I'm glad that I got to talk about the reliability, because after all this time driving around and never being stranded, it's such a good feeling, and just knowing that my tune hasn't caused me any issues is an even better feeling, because that means that the power is reliable at this point in time.